Are you ready to become awesomer? Hello, everyone. My name is Umar Hamid. I'm your host on the No Limit Selling podcast, where industry leaders share their tips, strategy, and advice on how you can become better, stronger, faster. Just before we get started, I've got a question for you. Do you have a negative voice inside your head? We all do, right? I'm going to help you remove that voice in under 30 days guaranteed. Not only remove it, but transform it. So instead of the voice that sabotages you, there's one that propels you to much higher levels of performance and success. There's a link in the show notes. Click on it to find out more. All right, let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the No Limit Selling podcast. We have Mike Chou here with us today and looking forward to this conversation. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Umar. I look forward to it as well, too. Excited to be here. I was listening to some of the previous podcasts and fantastic people. So really excited to be on here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I heard this quote a long time ago, and it went something like, we're all dumb at something. And I guess what they were really saying is we're all experts at something. And just another funny way of saying it. And so, yeah, just it's so fascinating just getting people have a conversation and really learn about things that you think you know about, and you just get a different perspective that allows you to go deeper.
100%. What I learned from, I'm part of like BNI and other different, organizations. And, one thing that they teach you is, if you try to promote everything, people hear nothing. Yes. So
we had the founder of BNI on the show as well.
Oh, wow.
He's somewhere in the archives. He was like wickedly smart.
Oh, he's incredible. I mean, he built this incredible empire. So, it stretches all I don't know if it's every country, but it's definitely huge.
There's a bunch of them. And one of the nice things was when the pandemic hit, they went remote, and they really helped people survive through this, especially the first 6 months was like stellar work.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, they're still going strong. I mean, I'm very fortunate to be in one of the very good chapters. I know there's some chapters that are just building or starting out, so they're still working out the kinks. But for this chapter, people have been, the members that I'm with, they've been there for 13, 14, 15 plus years, which is incredible. So just so much to learn. Yep.
Absolutely. How long have you been a realtor?
It's been about December of 2008. That's when I started. So
nice.
14 years.
14 years. That's pretty, man, time flies.
Oh my gosh. Tell me about it. I mean,
so what did you think real estate would be when you joined, and what did it turn out to be like in the first few years? What was the delta between hope and reality?
When you act as if like your back is against the wall, which, it seemed like that at the time. I was 24, 25, and just coming off the mortgage industry for the last 2 years. It was 2007. Like everything just crashed. Yeah. And people told me to get into business, and one by one they all left. So like in a 3,000 square foot office, it was just me at the end of the day. And it was scary, but I was too naive to even like think about like what was really going on. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna make it no matter what. And I did a few deals in those 2 years as a mortgage, trying to get into mortgages. But when I got my real estate license December 2008, I had zero expectations, because back was against the wall, and I was like, okay, I have to make this work, or I have to go get a 9-to-5 job, There's something to be said for being young and dumb. You don't know better. You just keep on going. I'm going to make this work. It's going to happen. Yeah. And it's a friend of mine. Her name's Jody, and she graduated from university. The first job she got was a receptionist at an architectural firm. Yeah.
And they said, oh, by the way, you have to call CEOs around the country and book appointments for our principal. Yeah. And she goes, okay. And she started booking appointments with significant CEOs around the country. And people around her are like, how are you doing this? They're too busy. They don't want to talk to you. And she said after 2 months of all that kind of coaching, she could pick up the phone again. But when she was like, call these people that want to talk to us, not a problem. Just going to make it happen. So excellent. So you came in the business. You started moving houses. When did you join a team at the when you first started, or were you just solo?
I was just solo, and like I mentioned earlier, I bounced around offices at that time because uh, my friend would tell me like, this is a better, let's come to this place. They're giving out leads, or and so forth, for mortgages. And one by one, people left. And so when I was at a small firm, nobody knew about the company. Like, luckily it was in my hometown, so it was just down the
Nice.
street, so it was really close. But it was one broker, one marketing person, one person that did mortgages. As a matter of fact, the person that did mortgages, Steve, who eventually became my partner later, he started doing real estate, and after seeing like how well I was doing it. So it was just
Nice.
me, no team, no, like, just a broker, very, very thankful for him for, helping out. I remember showing homes for, we're going to see new homes, and Google Maps at that time was just at the very beginning stages of
Right.
its, like, it's very infant. And we got lost for 2 hours. And I was calling my broker because they had questions. I didn't know what they were talking about, so I just called my broker after every question. And being lost in 2 hours in the same car and asking these questions, we still, we eventually found a home that they wanted, got a great deal, and they referred me like 8 other people that same year.
High
And we said,
five.
high five.
Absolutely. That's like
So
a great story because some people would have given up. It's like, oh my God, this is horrible. I'm never going to try that again. And they'll never
I,
recommend me. And the answer is no. It's all about intent. Your
yeah,
intent was to help them
yeah,
and they felt it. And even though you sucked, but it's like, we didn't cut him some slack. If you pretended to be like, I'm an expert,
yeah.
I'm amazing, it would have been like, you really suck. But if it's like, I'm just starting out, they feel sorry for you and they're like, hey, they want to support you, which is nice. That's human nature, right? People
At
want to
the,
help.
at the time, I think they thought of me as their own son,
Yeah,
and they really gave
nice.
me that opportunity. They knew I was new. I told them up front. And that's part of always been my business, is just be upfront with people that you're working with, and whether they want to give you an opportunity or not, that's up to them.
Yeah, brilliant. So right now, do you have a team yourself?
So now I have a team of 10 agents. I have 3 that's onboarding. So I have 13, and then 5 assistants.
Nice.
Yep, yep.
So what's been the biggest lesson in leadership? Because it's a
Man.
challenging thing to get a bunch of people to lead, especially realtors. They're like freaking cats. So let's break it down this way. What are 5 things that leaders of teams need to know to be a successful leader? What's number 1?
Number 1 is listening
What was
skills.
that?
Listening.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. It was a
Oh,
bad joke. Yes, listening is absolutely
I was like, did my microphone go out?
no, just a bad host. So
No,
listening is critical. What's number 2?
communication.
Yeah. And so give us the distinction between the two, between listening and communications. What's the distinction?
Well, I think it's listening before you talk, and communication is understanding what they're needing, understanding what they're looking for before you talk. And so once you listen, then you'll be able to know what they're looking for. I mean, what they
Nice.
want in the team, what they want in you, what they're looking for, and then you can have a successful relationship with that team agent or with that staff member.
So listening, communications, what's number 3?
Number 3, culture is always in there. So culture in the team.
So give me your definition of culture. What is culture to you?
Culture is, I think of it as, I love sports. I love basketball, football, and so forth. And uh, the coaches like Phil Jackson, or the Duke coach,
Mhm.
I admire them so much because they bring in, you take the culture however you want it. I'm not as disciplined as obviously as them, but we have some sort of discipline, and we have some sort of relaxation, I guess, giving understanding that we're not all here to do $1 million, 7 figures. We do $250,000, but we could live life very comfortable
Right.
and be able to provide for family and be able to travel and do all these things that you want to do and invest some of that money. man, that's fantastic because you're building a legacy.
Love
And
it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was number four.
Number four, those are definitely the top
Number
three.
three?
Yeah,
Right.
but number four, if we, I know you're asking for five.
No, I'll do number four. I'll do number
Okay,
four.
okay.
I think part of the culture, if we can imbue in people always getting better. So you're
Yeah,
never going to be the best, but you need to strive for that. And that means learning. And if
right.
you're learning what you're doing, one of the ways to really deepen it is to get your agents, when they're learning this new technique, is to teach it to the team, because that like really solidifies. And when people are all getting better all the time, it just creates this culture of winning and collaboration and camaraderie, which I think is critical to get a team over, the bad times. It's like, hey, you got
Yeah,
my back, I got your back. Like this, there's basically four things that you need. One is they need to trust in the leader's vision, and that's your vision.
right,
If your
right.
vision is big enough, people want to go on that journey.
Yeah,
Number two, they need to trust in themselves. Number three, they need to trust in each other. And number four is they need to trust in the processes that they've developed.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that's where better comes in, is that whatever the process is, people are looking to make it better as they go, and they're not stuck into it.
yeah, 100%. And that is one of the top five. What you mentioned is vision.
Yeah,
What you're trying to
absolutely. So yeah, we'll add that as number five. Number five is vision.
whew. No, it was very strange to me at first because I always thought like, okay, this is your goal. You want to hit 250,000. You want to do $10 million in sales. You want to hit $5 million in sales. That's the goal. That's the vision. It was hard for me to understand because coming off when I first started the team, and people would ask me all the time, what's your vision of the business? And I was just thinking like, yeah, I just want to make money and be able to do what I love to do, which is playing sports, watching sports. Philanthropy is a big one for me too. And so I never really thought too much more than that. I guess also part of me is having that simplistic mindset, keeping everything like so simple. Eventually we figured out what our vision was, which was ties into philanthropy. And I didn't realize that when people were asking me when I first started the team.
And had you given you a vision back then, it probably would have been bullshit anyway, because you would have just been making it up.
Right.
And so you need to kind of grow into your vision and go, okay, I want to do this, and I want to tie philanthropy into it. And it's an authentic thing you want to do. Whereas before it would have been like, oh yeah, Elon Musk has this vision, so I'm going to get so yeah, I love what you did. Just not having
Yeah.
a vision is fine. Just make enough money, have fun, look after my family, good enough for now. And as I mature, I'll figure out what I really want to do once you figure out real estate. So
Yeah.
the kudos.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, as an individual agent, man, you don't have the same responsibilities. You don't have the so once family comes into play and kids and so forth, and your mindset, everything shifts completely different. Completely different. And I'm so blessed to experience that and now be able to share that experience with other people as well.
Brilliant. So along this journey, you've had successes, but you've probably also screwed up a bit. Tell us about one of your failures and how you kind of learned the lesson and overcame it.
Learning all the time. As going into or starting a new team, I was at a very small brokerage, and then I joined Keller Williams. These are the only two brokerages that I've ever been with. I like to see myself as someone that's loyal to that company, and I like to stay with them for a long time. And coming into Keller Williams, a lot of people didn't want to join our office at the time because it was a no-name brand. Nobody like it was just
Right.
in Walmart and Diamond Bar. That's that's the area we're in, and if you wanted to be in that area, yeah, maybe they would join us. But after joining Keller Williams, like we had 30 people that wanted to join the team. And I was
Nice.
like, oh, you want to join my team? Like, that's fantastic. Like, come on board. Like, okay, we'll figure it out. And that was the biggest lesson because that was the biggest mistake because I wasn't ready. I didn't have the platform. I didn't go through the Keller Williams like model, and it quickly crumbled because the expenses, everything was just mounting, and I was taking, I was, you weren't ready. Like,
Yeah. And
you
the
just
beauty
weren't
of it
ready for
is
all the
this
meetings.
is, Mike, you may have noticed that you're not dead yet. And so when you're going through it, it's like it's the end of the world. And as long as you can learn the lesson from it, and it's like, oh, because somebody could have told you exactly what you did wrong before you did it, and it would have been like data. But living through it is like such a huge part of who you become. It's like, okay, I've led for this knowledge, and I'm going to be a better leader and be more discerning when I let people in.
Yeah.
That so yeah, I think one of the things we need to do as humans is really, depending on what your belief system is, and it could be God or the universe or whatever, it's like, what is this situation trying to teach me?
Yeah.
Learning that lesson and embracing it and moving on is like huge. Even when things turn out well, you can just go, oh, that was great. And it's like, yes, but ask the question,
Yeah.
what did I learn from this experience? And then that becomes valuable, and you can like recreate it easily. And if you disregard it, then you lose something that could be incredibly valuable.
One of the things that I always like to ask myself is like, how can I do this even better? How can I,
Yeah.
what went wrong? I teach the agents when they go on appointments. Of course, we always train, and Keller Williams is known for their training, so they get tons of training and a lot of stuff, resources. But if they're there and they don't get the listing, and if they don't get the buyer agreement signed, then what went wrong? Not necessarily what went wrong, but digest, almost like a diary, write down what happened.
Yeah.
And go back and really think about it. Even when you get the listing, I take a bunch of notes, so I can still go back and look at what I could have done better. And I think that's part of me always striving to take that business to the next level, or take myself to that next level. So I'm never like complacent, never settling.
Yeah, and that's huge. And it's easy to hear the advice, and having a leader that helps you put it into practice is critical,
Yeah.
because from the wins and the losses, there's learning opportunities. And sometimes you just can't see it from your level of experience. You can't see it. And if you can go to your boss and say, look, this was going on, it was going really, it's a good example. One of my sales agents said this meeting was going really, really well. Then all of a sudden it went totally sideways.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, let's listen to the recording of that. And what was really interesting was the meeting was not going well at all. With the Asian, it seemed like it was. And it was a Keller Williams person we were going to interview, a broker.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to impress him because we did this killer interview with this guy,
Right.
Conrad Zerini, and he's got 1,000 agents, and he's like a visionary in the field,
Mm-hmm.
and he works for Remax.
Okay.
She said, we just did this thing with Conrad. He works for EXP. And of course, the Keller Williams broker is like, I don't want to talk to you guys. Had an EXP guy on, and she's like, what happened? It's like, A, you got his brokerage wrong.
Yeah.
And 2, you thought it was going well and it wasn't. And 3, this is why it went sideways.
Yeah.
But had she just told me it went wrong, it would have been like, oh, try again next time. But auditing the recording, because what I do with my agents is very much, I don't have the time to listen to everything that they say, and I don't want to. So I just tell the agent, it's like, each week, get me a recording of a call that went exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And one that went horribly wrong. And let's audit those. And on the stuff that went well, we'll go, oh, that's something new. We don't do that. That's highly effective. And the stuff that went wrong, they get coaching right on the issue itself, which is huge. And I think when you get that team of people that want to do better, then they're open to coaching, as opposed to, Mike, you're making me feel bad.
Yeah, exactly. And you brought up a good point, is auditing. Always auditing everything, your social media, auditing your numbers, auditing your financials, we always, at least for me, growing up and going through real estate, auditing was just for financials.
Right.
But now I started thinking about, okay, auditing for the marketing, auditing for social media, auditing for the appointment. And never thought of it that way when I was starting out. I never had coaches like you, Umar, or never had, coaching from KW or, other.
Yeah, we're all learning. And one more step is you can actually audit your relationship in terms of, I had a great time with my wife, and why was it great? And it was, because I was more attentive, or I had an okay time with my kids. Why was it okay? Because I was looking at my phone and my deals and not paying attention to them. I didn't realize I was doing that. So yeah, it's like it's a journey of getting better. So Mike, before we part company, I've got four questions for you.
Yes.
The last one's the toughest, so just gonna
Okay.
brace yourself. First one is if I met Mike 5 years ago, that version of you would have been a lot less than the one I see before me. So
Right.
there's a Mike out there 5 years in the future.
Right.
So what are you working on now to kind of make that Mike 2.0 a reality? Like, what's the thing you're working on to find that better version of yourself?
I would start planning earlier. I would start planning
Nice.
earlier because 5 years ago, I did not meet my fiance, and I don't have any kids, and she has two kids. But it helped me see a whole new perspective to, I was lost for a good period of time because I didn't know what I really truly believed in and wanted to do. And I could close deals, and I have great relationships with my clients. Other than that, I didn't have any other goals,
Nice.
like uh, besides anything more selfish than that, and so that's a definitely a huge wake up call. And seeing my friends, I have a good buddy from high school. I started a business 3 years into it, making good money. And he, he wasn't making as much money, but he was able to buy 10 properties.
Wow.
And for for me, he was 27, 28 at the time. And for me, I was like, wow, I just bought a couple properties, and I make way more money. I should be, I
Further ahead, yeah.
yeah, I should have, really like planned and done something else, and so that was a wake up call as well too.
Nice. And we're always learning. And thank you for sharing that. What brings you joy in your work?
Right now, what brings me joy is being able to, philanthropy is a huge part of the business right now. So every transaction we donate and give back to whatever charity that the client wants to, usually
Nice.
2 to 3%. And it's a little, but it goes a long way. And for some people, it really hits home because, Alzheimer's is a huge thing
Oh,
in
yeah,
this
big time.
country. And so, gosh, I mean, working with trusts and probates, and it's a tough situation, but being able to just understand and provide that value. Wow, like I mean, talk about and at the end when you give back, man, that value, that emotional aspect, like it's crazy. It's a whole nother level. So philanthropy is definitely the way of, at least for me, my future. That's what, and the legacy.
Nice. So, what's one tip you'd like to share with our listeners and viewers that would allow them to be more productive or stronger, better, faster, sleep better? Like, what's the one thing you want to share?
I encourage anybody, whether they're starting out or they've been in the business for a long time and trying to find themselves, go and create those communities around yourself.
Yeah, love it.
Community is huge. I never thought of it. I was always like just a one man on an island, type of
Yes.
show. And that did not, I mean, yeah, I still close deals, but then it's not the same. I wasn't as happy as I am right now. And not making as much as I am now. Finding the community, whether it's basketball community, whether it's parent teacher, it's something that you have to do with your kids, or hiking, whatever it is, and finding that community, with you don't have to spend a lot of money. You just have to give back your time, but it's what you love to do anyways, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh,
And
love that. So, here's the last question, Mike. What's the one question I should have asked you that I did not?
that's the one question. You're right, that is a tough one. There's wow, what is that one question? I could think of a lot of different questions, but the top question, I think, you you did ask it, which is the community answer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. Mike, thanks so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I'm looking forward to our next.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you having me on.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. And if you're looking for more tools, go to my website at nolimitselling.com. I've got a free mind training course there that's going to teach you some insights from the world of neuro-linguistic programming, and that is the fastest way to get better results.